This week on Wisconsin Foodie.
Justin Carlisle, chef owner of Ardent. The style of restaurant that it is, it's, everybody's made fun of me for years on it. It's a personal style restaurant.
I don't know many chefs that are fortunate enough to have their family raising their beef for them.
To see the kind of food that Justin creates is mind-boggling.
I don't really mess with my father's beef too much because he does all right on his own.
Chef Justin Carlisle, who was born and bred Wisconsin boy, took that sense of what our tastes are all about and turned it into something fine.
The beef tartare comes from Sundays with my grandmother. Always cannibal sandwiches.
That's how she got you to eat them.
It is. It is.
I've always wanted a ramen shop, so why not on the weekends turn Ardent into a ramen shop? Flavored broth with noodles in it isn't ramen. It's not 33-cent packets. It's a labor of love. It's just this magical thing.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin. Society Insurance, small details, big difference. Outpost Natural Foods Co-op. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Illing Company, creating packaging solutions for you. Fab Wisconsin, the regional food and beverage industry cluster. The Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin are proud to support Wisconsin Foodie, helping viewers celebrate our state's vibrant food culture. With nearly 11,000 family dairy farms, the Wisconsin dairy industry generates more than $26 billion annually for the Wisconsin economy and brings recognition to the state for producing award-winning cheeses.
I've had Society Insurance for my restaurant from the beginning because I know they understand my business and how it's evolving and how the industry is evolving. You're going to have the coverage and the support you need for your unique operation.
The Milwaukee region has the highest concentration of jobs in food, beverage, and ingredients manufacturing in the nation. From production to processing, right down to our plates, our regional food industry offers career opportunities to fulfill your dreams and feed the world.
Inside the windows here to my right is Ardent Restaurant, one of the brightest spots in not just Wisconsin dining, but American dining. Chef Justin Carlisle, who was born and bred Wisconsin boy, took that experience, that edict, that sense of what our tastes are all about, and turned it into something fine. Not just fine dining, it's a new style of haute casual cuisine. It's terroir played out across the plate. It's Ardent.
Justin Carlisle, chef owner of Ardent.
You got a gougere down in front of you?
Ardent is strong and extreme and warm, and it's a very personal statement that we're trying to make here. As you can see from outside, there's no big signs of lights or anything that you see from the street. We're hidden in a basement. We have a fogged out front door that just has an A on it. We don't want people to come in with thoughts of what we should be. It's this style of a restaurant. Is it that style of restaurant? We named Ardent so that it wouldn't tie back to anybody. This isn't just my restaurant, it's mine and my employees and my entire staff's restaurant. It's more the philosophy of making this statement and producing these things that we feel very passionate about and sharing it with the clients that come in. I always wanted a smaller, intimate place. You know, we're a restaurant of 6 tables and 7 bar seats, 23 seats. We have a wide open kitchen, we have a wide open bar. He's 2 years cooking. We don't really have wait staff. Us as cooks come out to the table, we talk to every single guest that are here. Well, sure, the large restaurants are wonderful, and you know, the tablecloths and fine china and everything else, but it's really about the food and interacting with your customers and giving them an experience. You would come into the restaurant and you have an expectation as a diner of me to what the food quality is, what you're going to expect, and how your service is. But yet, I know nothing about you. So how was this? It was kind of uneven to me. We do tasting menus here, and most of it's roughly right around 8 courses, sometimes more or less. We involve snacks in the beginning and the end. We do take-homes usually, but we're usually trying to do something in progression. In theory, kind of telling a story, but telling a story on where we live and the things that we like. Then we also accommodate on dietary needs. As long as we know dietary needs ahead of time, we accommodate tasting menus for anybody, you know, with those same philosophies and those same flavor profiles that we go on. The style of restaurant that it is, it's, you know, everybody's made fun of me for years on it. It's a personal style restaurant. It's food that I grew up on. It's food that my grandma used to make. But it's very Midwestern, you know, to categorize it, it's easy, okay, it's modern Midwestern. You know, it's really our personal food and food that we're now transforming from our childhood into how we envision it and want to eat it now. You know, growing up on a farm, it was normal for me in life to grow the food that you had to survive on year-round, and I always wanted to get back to making things full circle. Everything to me should be full circle. I grew up on a beef farm, so if I'm in the food service industry and in the culinary world, I should probably be serving my father's beef. If not, it's kind of wrong if you come into my restaurant knowing that I came from a beef farm, but I'm not serving my family's beef. You know, that never made sense to me. When we're driving out here, this is kind of the country of Sparta. Sparta is obviously in the northwest country, but going towards smaller towns like Angelo and Cherek and Melrose and Minduro, and you know, these are small rural towns, and a lot of it all was farming communities, and now slowly, you know, the farms have dissipated, and for the most part in this area, it's been the same generations of family livings, and it's just trying to keep that community surviving. So I grew up on the farm here all my life, born in Sparta, grew up here. Growing up this way has affected my entire life cooking-wise, because I grew up where food sources was. So for me to get things shipped in or to go and buy products from, you know, a large producer, a large purveyor, it never really sat easy with me, because for me I felt like then I wasn't really giving back to the way that I grew up. Most of my life I always talked with my father about, you know, the dream is if I ever have my own restaurant that I would want him to be the beef producer for it. To me, there's nothing better than to have it come full circle in my life where I grew up and the people that, you know, supported me and nourished me and brought me up into the world, and now I can give back to them, but also show that, you know, the small producers of beef and dairy in that area in Wisconsin where I grew up from, I'm very proud of, and to showcase how well they are and how well products that we have here are produced.
I got into farming mainly because I was born and raised here at this farm, and always been pretty much in the farming business. So my grandparents and my folks moved here in 1932, and then from that time on accumulated the assets, and finally my father bought the farm in 1960. We presently run 40 brood cows, mother cows, beef cattle, and sell either breeding stock or cattle for Justin's restaurant.
I don't know how he does it, you know, he's worked on it so many years, but you know, there's always is it organic or is it grass-fed or is it certain ways of doing it? Well,
for him, he just raises them right. The cattle that he raises, it's amazing, and it's, you know, it's my family farm, so I know they're raised right. I get to see them all the time. I see animals from the calf to when they come to the restaurant. I watch my father take care of them. We talk about the feeding patterns, what he's feeding them, the ingredients that he's feeding them, how long he's feeding certain things for.
I did not think Justin would ever get into the cooking world. He worked in restaurants when he was in high school and thought that was the worst job in the world. His brother went on to school, and his brother went down to Ishnala, which is a nice supper club in the Dells, and it was when Justin graduated from high school, just before he went into the military. It was his last summer with his brother, and he begged to have a job, and they let him do any dirty dog's body kind of job. But he worked hard, and they wanted him back the next year. They promised him that he would be online. And he was online a week, and he called, "Mother, we need to change my major." And away he went. And I must say, when he told me he was going to have the new restaurant, and it was before he got very far, I said, "What are you going to call it?" And he said, "Ardent." I thought, oh, that's a real catchy name. And I didn't think much about it. And I was talking to a friend, and he said to me, "Ardent? Why would you say ardent?" So I described ardent. I defined it. And I said, oh my goodness, this is my child. Justin has always been very passionate about things he's cared about. He has always been willing to work very hard. But that passion is what fuels him. Of course, I expected, having worked at the Greenbrier and True, I expected that he would work in a big city for a big, fancy, big-name restaurant. I didn't think that he would create his own name, which he's been able to do. That's amazing for us.
So now we're going to drive to our butcher shop. It's called Craig's Meat. It's in Mendora, Wisconsin, so roughly about 20 minutes from the farm. We've been dealing with Craig's all of my life, and I don't know how long my father's been dealing with them, but as long as I remember, that they've been pretty much our butcher shop, and we take our venison during hunting season to them, and also the beef that we slaughter. So we want to really just keep on doing that, and that's why we have it processed up here and drive from Milwaukee up here to get it and come back. We'd rather keep the money within this area and back within that family, so that tradition in their family, just as the same as the beef tradition in my family, can just keep on surviving. How are we doing, Gary?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Nice to see you.
Here to pick up some beef? A lot of this, like the beef fat, is left over from our carcass. So we pick it up here. We buy our Braunschweiger. If we don't make it, we'll buy it from him. This is the same recipe that he's had for years and I grew up with. We made small batches of Braunschweiger down at us just to try it out.
Yep.
Everybody loves it.
Yep.
So it's easier if you already have it all here then.
We have another one that's oatmeal sausage.
Yeah, okay.
It really goes over good.
Excellent, we can try that.
In here is where we do all of our sausage making. It's our sausage room. Now we'll go into the actual smokehouse area. This right here is one of the smokehouses running. It actually has venison in it that we're cooking and smoking.
For me, when I know the people that are processing my meat, talking on the phone with them and planning it, and that incorporates into the restaurant and the menu on what we have, and unfortunately that has gotten lost in a lot of aspects of my profession and just in society in general. How we doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
We're pretty calm during the day, so
We can do
You're not
this.
even open.
No, not at all. We're not even open half the week.
Cool.
You know, Wednesday through Saturday.
All right.
So I'm gonna cook you some things and we'll talk about them and
Cool.
we'll go from there.
And eventually we'll have a beer.
Probably.
Yeah,
That
good.
usually happens. Usually we start out with a snack. A lot of places call them amuse-bouches, but we're not French.
So it's what amuse-bouche in Lyon is, snack is in Wisconsin.
Yep. Something to set the tone of where you are and what the restaurant is. We kind of try to bring comfort to people. So it's gonna be a pretzel gougere. Beer cheese soup is gonna be on the inside. And then we usually just top it off with an aged grounded cheese. We kind of play it off as a really fancy cheese puff. And you're gonna see when we serve it, we're gonna serve it in a small dish, but we're gonna serve it with there's no silverware on the table. So everybody, it's kind of finger food. So try to hopefully soften the mood, kind of get people think that it's a little more casual and have a fun time with it.
So it's just boom, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no silverware, finger food, snacks.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's not so much as fantastic as it tastes good, which it does.
But there should be, and hopefully it's a familiar flavor. It's something that you're familiar
The
with.
familiarity washes over me.
Right.
You're haute casual, right? This is another version of fine dining.
Sure. It's about the food, it's about the processes, it's about the interaction, it's about what the establishment serves. But it doesn't have to be pretentious, you know? So for the next dishes we're gonna prepare, we're gonna do the beef tartare. We're gonna start with the diced beef. Just a larger dice, like a small dice that we do. Lemon oil to add more acidity, but we don't straight lemon juice. Pepper. Fine sea salt. Chives. Shallots. And then we just mix, fold in. I don't really mess with my father's beef too much because he does all right on his own. Layer of beef down. Next layer is going to be the deviled egg mousse. So egg yolks, mayonnaise, some vinegar, salt, pepper, cayenne. Let me slide this off. Level it out. Take roasted bone marrow, garlic, shallots, herbs. Roast it out until it all melts out of the bone. And whips up kind of like buttercream. Spread it out into sheets. Then we cut it to fit on top. And then we're gonna season the top of that. We're gonna serve that with another course that we have is gonna be the milk course. House-made butter that we make out of the milk and cream that we get from Edelweiss and Bruce. He makes the Munster cheese out of the same batch of the milk and cream that we get from him. And then we take the butter that we make, his milk, and we make panelea, which is going to be milk bread.
Nice silverware presentation, chef.
Yeah, we're the waiters too.
I love it. I know. So that's part of demystifying the whole process.
It is. You know, all of us come out and we discuss with people, talk to people. So with these dishes are pretty much dishes that will always be on Ardent. I'm trying to think of when we opened, obviously we're the dairy state, but how can we really connect with the farmers and the milk? So 4 hours a week we drive to New Glarus, pick up our milk and cream for the week. We make all of our own butter here.
We have the best butter in the world.
Well, for sure. Once you taste it and you realize, my grandparents, they ate really well. For not having a lot, they ate extremely well.
That's what you can do with the luxurious butter.
Right.
With the real thing.
Yeah. The beef tartare comes from Sundays with my grandmother. Always cannibal sandwiches.
That's how she got you to eat
It is.
sandwiches.
It is. Raw beef, shaved onions, Wonder Bread, but she'd always serve deviled eggs on the side. So we'd always mash it together. So now I just combine and put it together.
It's a whole lot of yummy together.
It is.
So as I bite into it, every holiday memory, every warm family gathering, every Wisconsin-ness of it washes over me too.
The next dish we're gonna do is going to be a chocolate dessert. It comes from my mother who used to make saltine bark or bars. So this comes off of that dessert. Cake-wise, on the bottom is gonna be a praline of saltine crackers, chocolate cocoa puffs, chocolate and caramel. The next is gonna be salted caramel with chocolate. The next layer is gonna be saltine genoise or sponge cake. Then we're gonna have a buttermilk mousse is gonna be on top with a little bit of creme fraiche. And then on top of that, we go with the saltine ice cream. What we do is we take saltines, steep them in cream for 2 to 3 days, warm it up with the saltines in it. We'll mash through as much of the starch and saltines that we can have, freeze it, and then we'll spin it in the pocket machine.
I love this dish because it's pure mom.
It is.
So how long did it take for this thing to get engineered from Mom's recipe to this dessert?
From start to finish, it was roughly about 3 months, and then finally my mom came in to eat, and it got Mother Mary approved. So enjoy.
Yeah.
It's saltine on almost every level of every component on the dish.
That's great. It's beyond great.
It should taste beautifully and make you happy.
Yeah.
It's just good food. That's all we're trying to do.
You can sleep well at night, playing your Wisconsin voice forward in exquisite cuisine like this.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Later, buddy.
All right.
Thank you
Good
so
seeing
much.
you. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming down.
I'll be back when the curtains are closed and have some ramen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. We'll sling some noodles. No problem. Take
Later,
care.
bro.
I've always wanted a ramen shop. I worked with a Japanese man, years ago, and kind of got my first experience when I went to Japan and Tokyo of what real ramen is. Flavored broth with noodles in it isn't ramen. It's not 33-cent packets. It's very specific on the noodles and on the broth, on how it's made. It's a labor of love. It's just this magical thing that I got obsessed with. I enjoyed ramen, so why not on the weekends turn Ardent into a ramen shop? Other chefs in the city get done between 11 o'clock, 1 a.m. There isn't really any place for us to eat. You're looking at fast food or fried bar food. It's just what it is. So when I opened up, it was kind of the philosophy that instead of going to a busy place, we can come down to the restaurant and socialize and talk and get along and have some good food. It's kind of turned into a little bit more than that since that happened.
Coming there too? Coming up? Coming through?
We started in December, roughly a month after we opened Ardent, something called Red Light Ramen. Friday and Saturday nights, when the last customers leave, 10:30ish, 11 o'clock, we turn around and we flip over the restaurant. We close the windows off with burlap sacks, turn the lights down low, and we start at 11:30. Usually a line out the door starts forming around 11:15. We set up with, in a sense, Japanese style with soy sauce, togarashi, chilios on all the tables, and then one type of ramen was the dukonku style ramen, which is the southern Japanese style, and it's the emulsified pork fat. It's traditionally the only pork ramen. For me, I've been keeping it very traditional, and it's very important for me to keep it traditional. We're building flavors, and we're starting out with, kombu and dried mushrooms. For ours, we have pork skin and pork necks and pork feet, and all the offcuts of pork.
Chicken feet, chicken legs, a lot of mirepoix, ginger, garlic, scallion bottoms, bonito. We make a tare as an extra seasoning layer that's fried chicken thighs, soy sauce and mirin all blended up.
And then all of a sudden we're boiling it, and we're boiling it nonstop for 15, and now we're pushing almost 28 hours, which on a normal stock you sit there and you simmer it and you skim it and you want to take all the impurities out of it. On this stock, you boil the impurities. You want to emulsify it into this milky white rich stock, and that's all we serve is the one type of ramen. You have 5 toppings, and everybody can customize it, whether we top it with dried anchovies, gingers, carrots, leeks. It's happiness to me, it's comfort in a bowl.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin. Society Insurance, small details, big difference. Outpost Natural Foods Co-op. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Illing Company, creating packaging solutions for you. Fab Wisconsin, the regional food and beverage industry cluster. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. WMSE 91.7 FM, Frontier Radio. The Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin are proud to support Wisconsin Foodie, helping viewers celebrate our state's vibrant food culture. With nearly 11,000 family dairy farms, the Wisconsin dairy industry generates more than $26 billion annually for the Wisconsin economy and brings recognition to the state for producing award-winning cheeses.
I've had Society Insurance for my restaurant from the beginning because I know they understand my business and how it's evolving and how the industry is evolving. You're going to have the coverage and the support you need for your unique operation.
The Milwaukee region has the highest concentration of jobs in food, beverage, and ingredients manufacturing in the nation. From production to processing, right down to our plates, our regional food industry offers career opportunities to fulfill your dreams and feed the world.
This is a picture of our oldest son, Jared, and this is Justin. This is Jared's last year in 4-H, and this is Justin's first year. But this was Justin's first year, and so he would have to go to the first class. And that animal wanted to go back to the barn so badly. He'd say, I can't go, he's pulling me all around, I can't do this. And it would go on again and again, and he would cry, and his father would say, come on now, Justin, you'll be fine, he'll be good.
Getting close to my personal bubble, dude. I just want to let you know. That's a warning. All right, this is my space. Stay out of it, please.